Marion Carlin here. Guys, some people know me as the relationship expert who likes to keep it raw and real. I'm just a man who loves to see couples win, and I'm just a man who loves to see couples communicate very, very well. What I'm here to talk to you about today is what I've seen over the last 8 years of being in the relationship space is that couples, they fight. I have coached many couples, and those couples have led into hundreds of couples, and those couples has led into thousands of people by now over 8 years. And I've learned that couples fight. It's something that we do. Fighting is not a bad thing. Most people think that fighting is bad. Fighting is not bad. Fighting really, the art of being able to communicate in an argument is what normally where fights begin to take place. Now, this is what we do. Couples fight, and we know how to communicate a negative vibration, but we don't necessarily know how to communicate a positive vibration. Well, Marion, why are you saying this? I'm saying this because the first law in the universe is that everything moves, nothing rests. So you're either in the place of having a feeling in an argument where you're feeling normally, you're feeling bad, when you should be feeling good. So what happens in the process is you get in an argument with your spouse, and this is what happens. This is what couples and this is what spouses say. When the other particular spouse is trying to communicate a feeling that they don't know how to communicate, but they do know how to communicate anger. So you retaliate by they're saying something has triggered where you've possibly done something that they didn't like. You didn't even know that you were trying to trigger them in any way, but they've been triggered. So on being triggered, they say what they don't like. And this is what you say in a fight. You're being ridiculous. This is what you say. Calm down. This is what you say. I don't want to hear this right now. This is bad timing. Why are we talking about this right now? What you picked the moment to have this particular argument now when we're about to go to a picnic, or we're about to go into the movies, or we're about to see a play. Couples fight. Couples just do this, and we don't necessarily know why we do this, but we do this because we don't know how to communicate real feelings. We know how to communicate anger, but we don't know how to communicate vulnerability. So this is what I want you guys to do. Right below, I want you to click a link because I'm having a webinar that I want to invite you into, which will give you some real pointers, 3 to 4 to 5 pointers that I want to give you on strategies and how you can instantaneously eliminate an argument in just 3.5 seconds. How you can instantly begin to communicate to your spouse, to your significant other, to your loved one, that you know what, you want to be able to hear what it is that they're communicating. And the more that you say in an argument when they're being triggered, calm down, your spouse gets, that's the opposite. They don't become calm, they get more upset. The more you say you don't want to hear this, the more that they want to communicate what you don't want to hear. The more you say you're being ridiculous, the more that your spouse ends up being more ridiculous. Because guys, even the best of the best couples, I've been in the relationship space for over 8 years. I've modeled what I would want my own relationship to look like. I've modeled that under people who have really begun to get communication down, and I've studied and I've read and I've studied and I've read, and I've learned that couples fight. What we need to learn how to do is communicate vulnerability as well as we know how to communicate anger. So what I want you to do is I want you to first click the little button below. And then I'm going to have a webinar where I'm going to teach you 3 to 5 simple little steps in how you can learn how to fight. And how to fight in a way that's healthy. I always say this to couples all the time. I always say this. I say that the key to a healthy relationship, the key to a very healthy, powerful relationship is a couple that knows how to argue in love. So guys, I invite you to this webinar. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very informative, and it's going to be very authentic, raw, and it's going to be real. So click the link below and get yourself enrolled in this webinar, because I promise you, it will be majorly important for you to be a part of this so that you can have what it is that you want. And what I do know is that you want to get along with your spouse and your significant other just like everybody else. Wouldn't it be wonderful for you to be able to communicate in a way where you could communicate a real feeling and it not turn into like a major argument, where you could communicate your vulnerability instead of your anger? Guys, I always say this: if you're not giving, you're not living. Cheers and God bless. Thanks very much.